I already know this video is not going to get a lot of views. There's probably not going to be that many people that support it, but I need to talk about it because I think it'll be funny in like 5 to 10 years, and I'm still going to be doing YouTube then. So I had one guy comment on one of my net worth videos, like, why are you so allocated to crypto? And I'm going to basically break that down. My case for Bitcoin specifically, not so much crypto. I don't own, let's say, crypto. I don't want to say exactly what I own, but I don't own crypto. And I want to explain why Bitcoin's going to 100,000, then it's going to 500,000, then it's going to 1 million, then it's going to 10 million. And it's actually a pretty simple thing, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen in 3 years or 5 years, but in 10, 20, all those years later, I could totally see it happening. And it's just basic math, okay? There's all these different things and philosophies that Bitcoiners have, but the reason that it resonates so much with me and it makes so much sense is because it's just math. It's just math. You don't have to even understand that much about Bitcoin to get it. And before I get into it, this is not financial advice. This is not something that you should dump all your other investments for and go 100% allocated to Bitcoin. Best strategy you can do is just basic dollar cost average, because the volatility is going to be a gift if you can withstand these drawdowns and use it to keep accumulating more. Also, I do apologize for my car being super dusty. There's a dust storm yesterday, but the main thing about Bitcoin is that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Okay? It has a capped supply. There's nothing else out there that has a capped supply. Real estate, they build more houses. They're going to get more efficient at building houses in the future. Stocks, they issue more stock. It's also backed by fiat, by US dollars. US dollars are now backed by nothing. And even when they were on the gold standard, while that worked good for some time, it's the most proven and trialed thing that we've had. They started lying about the gold reserves, and that's why we had to get off the gold standard. So Bitcoin is the only truly finite asset. Even gold and silver, if they mine up 0.5%, 0.2% per year, that's going to dramatically affect the supply in 50 years. That will add up. And I know it takes time, it takes energy to go and mine those. So yes, it's still a good store of value. I'm not like demeaning any other investment by promoting Bitcoin. The other ones are still great. They're still going to work. However, I think Bitcoin has asymmetric returns. I mean, you can look at the history, you know what it does. You can go back and track, okay, it was at 16K, then it went to 3, then it went up to 64, then it went back down to 16. Something along those lines. There's big swings. You got to let your nuts hang if you want to be in Bitcoin and you want to just not get wrecked. And so that's fundamentally my point, is it's the only asset with a truly scarce supply. Now, when you have something with a truly scarce supply and the thing chasing it is an infinite amount of dollars, what do you think is going to happen? Even if it's just like kind of whatever, there's all these things that make up Bitcoin and make it so good, in my opinion. But just that alone, that people have deemed value to this thing, and there's an infinite amount of other thing trying to fit into this, it's just going to make sense that it goes up. It's just supply and demand. There's some people that are never going to sell their Bitcoin. There's countries that have started accumulating Bitcoin. There's companies that have started accumulating Bitcoin. That's not going to stop. That's only going to accelerate. And then there's other philosophies that can go into it, which is it's the only asset that the government can't take. With real estate, if you don't pay your property taxes, they will just stamp a piece of paper. And now the house is basically the government's. You were basically renting it from the government. Let's go to stocks. Well, this is a story back in 2021. I was in GameStop whenever it was going nuts. I had I didn't have much money in GameStop. All right. But, we all know what happened with GameStop. If you don't know what happened, there's a movie on Netflix about it. I forget exactly what it's called off the top of my head, but it's fantastic. And so then in 2025 or 2024, no, 2020, I think it was 2024, late 2024, early 2025, Roaring Kitty is the guy that started the whole movement. Came back, tweeted for the first time in like 5 years, and GameStop started pumping again. So I put $4,000 in there, and it goes up to 8,000. I was like, all right, quick double up. This was free money. This is stupid. I'm going to cash out. It was just a straight gamble, all right? It was a straight DGen gamble. And E-Trade, lots of other brokerages, I know Robinhood was a big one, they halted trading because hedge fund managers were losing so much money because retail was, giving them a squeeze. And then I cashed out at like 6,000. Just like, yes, I still made money. That's not necessarily the point. It was just extremely frustrating, super annoying that I have my money on this brokerage and they can just stop trading. They could just not allow me to move my funds when I wanted to. And that's the other thing that's a little bit annoying, is that it only trades, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And with Bitcoin, number one, you don't have that problem with real estate where nobody can take your Bitcoin. Nobody even really knows you have it, unless you're some dude making YouTube videos in your car talking about it. Or with stocks, they can never pause your trading. Bitcoin is 24/7. I've bought in Bitcoin at 3 a.m. on a Sunday night, and nobody has stopped me. I didn't have to wait for anything to settle. It was just there. It's ready to go. You can send money through. It's borderless, so you don't have to worry about going to this country and then getting their currency and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's borderless transactions. If you have a buddy, for some reason, in North Korea, you can go and send him some money. Maybe not North Korea. I don't know, dude. But you get the point. What I'm saying is that it's completely borderless. You don't have to have a third-party approval. There's no middleman. So that's kind of the base case for why I'm such a big believer in Bitcoin without getting super analytical and nerdy. But yeah, I mean, the other thing too is that every 4 years, they have the halving, which is just going to dramatically decrease the new supply that's coming out. And then it looks like, based on the historical running of Bitcoin, that we're having increasing demand for this thing. There's now financial instruments that are coming out behind it. Fannie Mae just approved the first Bitcoin-backed loan. This stuff is like just happening now. So over time, even if it grows a little bit, there's going to be increasingly more demand for this asset. And once you understand it, it's the most economically sound, bulletproof asset because you can't fake anything. You can go back to the genesis of it in the first block and see the first transactions ever recorded in history. And, they have all these risks of, this and that, and like quantum, quantum's a big one. And guys, you simply don't got to worry about it because the network is going to adapt like it always has. I don't know how. I'm not a Bitcoin miner. I'm not a geek. I just know that the network's going to adapt because Bitcoin's like the base layer. And then they build all this stuff on it. They vote on it. There's people that the miners, I don't know, bro. I'm not claiming to be a Bitcoin expert. All right. I'm just smart enough to know that this kind of makes sense. And every other investment kind of does feel like a scam. It really does. So, anyways, guys, I'm about to go pick up some groceries. I just wanted to make my base case for Bitcoin and let you guys know kind of where I stand. There was some people that had some comments to say on one of my net worth videos. That's why I'm such a big believer on it. And this is not telling you to go buy Bitcoin. I don't, I do care what you do. I want you to have some good investments, but if it's not in your risk appetite, by all means, don't do it. Don't do it. But for me, 23, I don't plan on trading. I don't ever trade my Bitcoin. I buy it. I hold it. I don't worry about it. I forget about it. And I'm not so much concerned about the price in a year or 2 years or 3 years. I'm thinking in decades. And I think in decades, I'm going to be really thinking myself. So if this resonated with you, if you made it this far in the video, leave a like, subscribe, the whole deal. I appreciate all the support, all the views, all the love, the comments, the likes, everything on the videos that have been coming out recently. We're doing a 30-day run right now. It's day 6 and it's going extremely well. I'm super, super excited to give you guys a 1-week update tomorrow. And then in another 23 days, a 30-day update on how this run went. And it's freaking fantastic, man. So I will see you all in the next one. Peace.